Hello, friends, and welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. My name is Scott Cowan, and I'm the host of the show. Each episode, I have a conversation with an interesting guest who is living in or from Washington State. These are casual conversations with real and interesting people. I think you're going to like the show. So let's jump right in with today's guest. I'm always sitting down. I am sitting down with Layne and Emily today, and they're going to introduce themselves. But this episode is going to be all about Bellingham's upcoming beer week. So, Emily, you were in the studio first. We're going to let you introduce yourself to the audience. Take it away.
All right. Hello, audience. I'm Emily Mallos. I work at Cowan Brewing Company. I am the general manager here, and I live in Bellingham.
How long have you been in Bellingham?
This is my 10th year in Bellingham.
Okay, and what brought you, why did you end up in Bellingham?
I moved here to go to Western and then had the mystical, I'm not going to leave. I want to stay here. How do I stay here?
That's so common in college towns. It really is. I didn't want to leave Ellensburg either. I get it. All right, Layne, how'd you get to Bellingham?
Hi.
Let's start with that. I'm going to make you answer that question before you introduce yourself. How'd you end up in Bellingham?
You got it. I also went to Western and had the same experience as Emily where I didn't want to leave. So I decided to find a way to stay, and beer ended up being that way for me.
And how long have you been in Bellingham?
I've been here since 2013,
Okay.
So 11 years now.
And where are you working? Because we cut you off to do that intro.
Yeah, no problem. I'm the operations manager at Aslan Brewing Company. So just a hop and a jump away from Emily over at Cowan.
So you two are involved with Bellingham Beer Week. Now, I'm a little confused. There's Bellingham Beer Week, and then there's the Bellingham Beer Alliance, which is putting on Bellingham Beer Week.
Right. So that's a new thing.
Okay.
The previous person that ran Bellingham Beer Week decided that they needed a break and to step back, permanent break.
Okay.
So they're done doing that. And Emily and I just can't help but get ourselves involved. We're definitely those two people. So we decided with a couple other people to try and form a Bellingham Beer Alliance. And that is technically our LLC. And it stretches beyond Bellingham Beer Week. So all the other 51 weeks of the year, the Bellingham Beer Alliance exists. And then for 1 week a year, we do business as Bellingham Beer Week.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's what's happening April 18th to the 28th.
Okay. Emily, how did she rope you into this? Were you not present and you got voted in, or, are you one of those organizers that we were talking about earlier?
Oh, I am a big organizer. And, when we got contacted by Brian, who was running Beer Week before, and he was saying, I want to give it back to the breweries, my mind immediately started going like, well, we can organize it, but we can also organize other stuff. And how do we get money to do that? And we started looking into ways that we could apply for grants and what would be available to us. And we found that, it would be helpful to have a way to do that officially. And so that kind of led us down the LLC path.
Okay.
And it also helped us form, there's 16 breweries in Bellingham right now. And we kind of have some unofficial avenues that we all hang out and plan things together. And oftentimes when we're organizing as a whole to do something, sorry if you heard that.
Why do you think Bellingham's got about 100,000 people approximately, give or take,
I think a little bit just over. Yeah.
And you've got 16 breweries there? That's why?
It's a lot of breweries per capita.
Yeah, why? Why do you think beer's so popular in Bellingham?
That's a great
question.
Because
it's delicious.
Well,
Yeah.
Sure, but that's...
I think the outdoor resources that we have, like mountain biking, Mount Baker's right here, so everyone skis and snowboards. The bay is right here. There's a lot of water sport activity. Lends itself well to the idea of earning your beer and like deciding that you're going to go do an activity that a beer tastes even better after. I don't think that is like
so are you
the
familiar with
scientific
a guy by
reason
the
why
name
it does so well in our economy, but
Are you familiar with a guy by the name of Brandon Fralick that's up there that wrote the book Beers at the Bottom?
Yeah, he's a writer for
that sounds really
Cascadia
familiar.
Daily,
I've
right?
emailed someone.
So he's a writer, and he lives up there, and he and another person wrote a book called Beers at the Bottom, which is all these great hikes to go on, but after the hike there's always a tap room nearby to go to. So basically you're gonna go climb a mountain somewhere and then drink beer afterwards.
Yeah,
he's another Bellingham person. Anyway, it's just interesting to me the vibe from, I hate that word, but the energy that comes out of Bellingham is so outdoors orientated and heavy and really beer heavy.
Right.
And it is a lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah,
More than anything.
I would say that. Yeah.
All right. So
I would say just another note on that is that seems like every neighborhood has its own brewery or 5. So it's really born out of the people who are close to the breweries also supporting that.
But one of the other interesting things that I've gathered is that it seems like with 16 breweries up there, that for the most part, everybody that works at these breweries, from the owners down to the brewery dog, they're all kind of, it's a community. It's you're all businesses and you all want to make a profit and keep the doors open, but you're like collaborating and you're supportive of each other's ventures versus
absolutely
trying to sabotage the guy down the street's brew tank. You're helping him out, and that's really cool.
I would say that it's such a unique industry, especially in our little town, because we're always trying to push other breweries to be better without like stepping on anyone's toes, if that makes sense. So, we really love like so much of the beer that Colshan makes, and we look at other lands for lager, and when Chuck and It was here, Chuck and It was like the blueprint for lager, and it was like, man, how can we make something that good instead of, oh, we want to be better. It's like we want to reach where our friends are at, because we are all pretty supportive of each other, and
kind of the rising tide lifts all boats, if you will, type thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
And if it's good for Bellingham Beer, it's good for all of us. So we all kind of reap the benefit from that. And I'll be the first person to tell someone to go to another brewery other than the one that I'm running,
Okay.
So
Well, I'm going to give you that chance a little later,
web.
by the way.
Perfect.
Yeah. So as Bellingham Beer Alliance, is Bellingham Beer Week your first event that you're putting on? So nothing's gone wrong yet? Everything's been perfect?
Nothing's gone wrong yet because nothing has happened yet.
Perfect.
So
right.
It could go horribly wrong. We'll see. But so far, so good.
Okay.
We built our website. All the breweries have joined Bellingham Beer Alliance.
Okay.
We even have like a tap room tier. So if you're running a tap room, you can still be involved.
Okay.
And just kind of trying to figure out how to structure this thing so that, things don't happen like 2 big key events are on the same day, and people have to choose between where to spend their time and money,
All right.
So it's been very helpful to have literally one person from every brewery in a room.
That's cool.
Like,
And everyone's kind of playing
weeks.
nice so far. I mean, in other words,
you're
not planning an event and then Emily's company's planning an event to compete with you. You're going, okay, you do yours next week. We'll do ours 2 weeks later. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. And that'll be like the nature of the calendar for forever. For instance, our anniversary, we have our 10-year anniversary for Aslan coming up in May. And if I wasn't so close with the Wander Brewing folks, I wouldn't know that their anniversary party is the week before ours. So outside of Bellingham Beer Week, it's going to be beneficial for everyone, I think. So,
well, so why is Bellingham Beer Week in April? What was I know that maybe this is the 10th anniversary of it? Am I correct on that? Did I see that somewhere online?
Yeah.
10? Okay.
Yeah, it's the 10th year. And it has moved around different weeks since its inception. And I think when they originally started, it was in the fall and kind of trying to capture that kind of off season as you're heading into winter is somewhat of a slower season for beer. And I think when it landed in April, the idea was that it was leading up to April Brews Day, which is a huge beer festival in Bellingham is put on by Max Higby Center. So at this point, all of Bellingham Beer Week is leading up to the celebration of our biggest beer festival.
Okay.
And I think too, it lends itself well to, not cold weather, but there's a chance it could be nice out. So if it is, then we're gonna ride that high as much as we can.
Right. It's kind of kicking off beer drinking season.
Yeah. I looked at the forecast too, and it's looking sunny next week.
Okay,
So
you just jinxed it.
I know.
You just jinxed it. I'm sorry. Right? Everyone, you can blame Layne for the rain that you're standing in when you're drinking beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through what you anticipate Bellingham Beer Week to look like in 2024.
Yeah. Well, do you want like a snapshot of some of the key stuff going on?
Well, I'm looking on your events calendar right now, and I could ask you questions, or you could offer things to me. But let's start off.
Totally.
Tell me about the kickoff party. What do you have planned to kick this thing off?
The kickoff party is kind of industry driven, but open to everybody. I think we're kind of just celebrating the idea that the breweries not took back, but were given kind of control over Bellingham Beer Week and what that looks like. So there's gonna be gravity kegs, which is a really fun way to drink beer. And for anyone that doesn't know what a gravity keg is, you literally have to hammer it open, and it's just kind of a fun traditional way to tap a keg. And then, I believe it's the gravity that carbonates the beer for the most part. So
interesting.
It's similar to a cask without the slow pull down.
All right.
When you're pouring a cask. Anyway, so there's gonna be gravity kegs, food trucks, and because Wander is also turning 10 this year, it felt appropriate to kind of give them the reins in terms of the kickoff party.
Okay.
Yeah, should be really fun. They make excellent beer over there, so any excuse to go to Wander, I will go.
Okay, so I'm going to put you both on the spot because I want to ask this question. And I understand that what I'm about to ask you is probably difficult. But as we sit here in April of 2024, besides a beer from your brewery that you represent, what's your current go-to beer from another Bellingham brewery? Layne, I'm going to put you on the spot first. There's no wrong answers, by the way. I mean, I'm just curious, what do you like?
Two come to mind right away. Okay. And I used to work for the North Fork Brewery, which is out in Deming, but they just opened their Bellingham location in Sunnyland earlier this year, or last year, end of last year. And I love the North Fork Nitro ESB so much.
Great beer.
It was my shifty every day when I worked at the North Fork. I love it. Okay. But lately I've been hankering for cold IPA. I don't know what it is. Okay. I just need it. So the Larrabee Lager cold IPA has been pretty steady for me.
Emily, what about you?
Well, I was going to say a Larrabee Lager beer too, but I'll go
it's okay.
Another brewery.
I did too.
Because it's in the neighborhood here. I really love when Otherlands has their Nightmare beer on. It's their dark lager. Mm-hmm. And it's coming, I think it's kind of coming to its end of its season. So every one that we get to have is like, oh yes, one more Nightmare until I have to wait until next fall.
Okay. Yeah, see, I like the fact that
that's actually easier than I thought.
See, here's the thing. I loved how you both answered this, and you're like, I gotta say the Nitro sounds. I gotta say that of what you guys recommended, that would be the one I would probably like. I want to try that. Like that speaks to me type thing. Okay.
Totally.
All right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have so much access also to my brewery's beer that it's a special treat when I get to drink another brewery's beer because
And Emily,
I'm swimming in Aslan beer.
I was gonna say, and Emily, I'm sure
totally.
You're okay. All right.
Yeah, you can only drink so much premium lager,
Yeah.
But is there really a limit? I mean, have you
maybe the limit doesn't exist.
Have you hit that limit yet? I mean, it sounds like you've given up. You should keep going. Okay.
It's the season. I need some stamina.
Yeah, come on. So we're kicking it off. I mean, no pun intended, with the kickoff party. I'm looking here. We're not going to be able to do justice to the whole calendar, and I'll put a link in the show notes to that, But I got to say the Give a Shuck Patagonia beer and oyster pairing sounds kind of funny. tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
cool.
I named that event.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I just want to eat oysters, I want to use oysters for free in my own place of business. So that's the idea there.
Okay.
And it's celebrating a bunch of our sustainable beers, and Shellfish is one of the more sustainable.
And you guys are pairing up with Taylor
sources.
Shellfish for that.
It's not Taylor Shellfish. It's actually a different business.
It's on your website.
Yeah. Well, someone needs to edit that.
Sorry.
No, thank you for pointing that out. We were going to partner with Taylor Shellfish, and now we are not.
Okay.
It's a different oyster company.
So who's the oyster company? Let's give them a shout out.
They are like a private caterer that focuses on oysters.
Cool.
So,
all right.
It's less of a sexy name.
Okay.
But yeah, they're awesome.
Then, look, April 20th wouldn't be appropriate
Big
without
day.
a reefer release party. But before we talk about the beer there, I just got to say, the hot Cheeto chicken sandwich.
It structures. It looks insane. Can I talk about Saturday really quick? Because I think it's a good example of how all these events can complement each other. So, you know how Layne was talking about, we were really intentional with the way that we didn't want events overlapping, but we do want to give people the opportunity to go from place to place to place. So Saturday would be a day where you can stop by Colshan Beer Olympics, and that's happening all afternoon. And then you can hit up Alderlands for lunch and head down to Structures to try their chicken sandwich. Maybe go check out the Earth Day Fair at Boundary.
Oh, wow.
There's like things that are time limit specific, and then there are also things that are like, oh, I could go try this at any point during the day when I'm out and about riding my bike around town.
Right.
And that's the kind of essence of Beer Week, is that you can make a day out of any of the days.
Right. Sorry, I'm still fixated on this hot Cheeto chicken sandwich, though. I'm
fixated on 4 burgers for $20.
Well, that's okay, yes, but I can't decide, and I'm sorry, Structures, if I'm offending you, but I can't decide if I'm repulsed by the idea of a hot chicken Cheeto sandwich or something I must try. It's very polarizing to me. It's like, I think I got to try it.
It seems like a novelty experience where you just have to try it because it's only there for one day.
Yeah, where I can
and
go
then
get
you
burgers.
can say you tried it.
And I can get burgers all the time, that type thing.
Whenever you want.
Let's go back to the Beer Olympics, though,
like,
because that was on my list of questions that I want to have. So I'm reading here. It's 22 teams will compete in 8 Beer Olympic Games. Can you disclose what the Beer Olympic Games are?
I can tell you about a few of them, but we like to keep a few a surprise.
Okay, so give us a chance here.
There's your obvious ones. You got your cornhole. You got your keg hoop toss, where you're throwing hula hoops at kegs.
Okay.
You've got trivia.
Okay.
We've also got some fun ones like old balls, where you tie pantyhose around your waist and you have tennis balls at the bottom and you're trying to knock beer cans over for scoring points. And it's like a little obstacle course.
That's so fun.
And we have a few new ones this year, so participants can, keep them on their toes, keep things competitive.
And so it says 22 teams. So how did you pick? How did the teams get assigned? How did that happen?
So people sign up beforehand.
Okay.
So we have a sign up link on our website, colshanbrewery.com, and
link in the show notes.
Once the bracket's full, 22 teams is a good bracket to put them through 8 games, and we found it takes about 4 hours.
Okay.
So
did any
we
of the
schedule in
breweries
beer
sign up
breaks,
teams?
and we do have a couple breweries signed up for teams. I think Aslan has one, and
if we
April.
do, I don't know about it, but I'm glad to hear it.
I'm not in charge of the sign up, so I'm a little out of touch with that.
I think it'd be kind of fun if the Beer Alliance had a Beer Olympics where you made all the breweries compete against each other in events like that.
Against each other.
I think,
yeah,
it's like
that
the
might have
Disney
to
Channel
be,
games.
yeah, something like that. That'd be fun. All right. So then other
We do that at the end of the week. So
we do. We have a secret bocce tournament.
Oh, cool.
So all of the breweries meet up at this undisclosed location, but it's the Bocce Bonds compound. And all the breweries hang out at the end of beer week, and we have a bocce tournament, and there's all 16 breweries signed up, and we spend the whole day together barbecuing and drinking beers and playing bocce.
See, I'm old, and I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking if I participated in this, as if I was working for one of the breweries and I was having to be at beer week all week, the last thing I'd want to do was have more beer at the end of this thing. I just, those days are behind me. So I'm glad that
that's fair.
The youth of America is still representing. I'm glad. Keep it up. Because
it's the
debauchery bocce tournament where our bodies are.
Yeah, it's because events are hard on you. Alcohol's hard on you, you know. So let's bounce to the very end. We'll come back, but let's bounce to the very end because we have what was it called? I got to get there. The Hangover Helper Brunch. I love that name.
Yeah, that's a funny one. We just decided that the day after April Brews Day, everyone's in rough shape. So we may as well kind of lean into the chaos of that.
Okay.
So at the Aslan Depot, we have an outdoor grill going, okay. And they're making breakfast sandwiches. Best breakfast sandwich I've ever had. One of our cooks here at Aslan is just like insanely talented at that genre of food.
Okay.
And it's nice and greasy, sticks to your bones. You can get a michelada, mimosa, Bloody Mary, and then there's going to be a DJ set, but like chill.
And soft because hangovers cause my head to hurt and I don't want loud music. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So I'll be stopping by there on the way to Debauchery Bocce Ball. But it's a very fun time.
Good on you. My head hurts already from talking about this stuff. I mean,
beer week's all about stamina.
Yeah.
And stamina. We're training
industry.
For beer season.
Also, Emily and I, just as industry people, are essentially professionals at being hungover at this point. So.
All right, putting you on the spot. What's your go-to hangover cure? What works for you?
A Diet Coke, immediately.
Really?
I usually get an Old World deli sandwich when I'm hungover, like a panini.
How about you, Emily?
But
I'm a big bubbly water. Like I need like 32 ounces of sparkling water.
Yeah.
And like I go for the health where I'm like, I need like a smoothie, but like bacon.
Okay.
Bacon on the side.
Bacon on the side.
All right.
What's your hangover cure?
Not drinking. It's gotten to the point I had to stop drinking beer because I went out, I know this a few years ago, I went out and had a Guinness one night because I enjoy a Guinness, right? And dark beer, I like that. I woke up the next day feeling like I had drank all day and all night and was miserable. And I thought, that's weird. Just one off. Had another beer a couple weeks later, same thing. And beer doesn't like me anymore. We had to break up. That being said, I've tried a couple lately, and we might be reconnecting. We might be rekindling our romance.
What better place to find out than Bellingham Beer Week?
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. The problem would be too much temptation, too many choices, too many opportunities. Bad decisions would be made. And
well, if you drink tiny beers, little samplers, maybe that'll help. That's one of my tricks.
Okay.
It's always just have the smallest beer.
Yes, but you can drink a lot more of them. All right.
But you have to go to the bar more times.
No, that's true. If it's crowded, it is the thing that slows you down. All right.
Yes.
What else, you guys? I mean, there's a lot going on here. So we've got,
right.
Tell me about the Not Another
everything.
Spring Market.
Yeah, that's at Stemma. I think that name is pretty funny because the breweries do all tend to have a similar schedule for hosting like makers markets. Mm-hmm. And so there is a lot of spring markets happening. So Stemma called There's Not Another Spring Market. And so that will be a lot of different local vendors and some heavy hitters, town favorites, I'm sure will be there. Mm-hmm. And I think they set it up in their brewery. So like you're walking through the brewery itself.
Right.
Usually, unless it's nice out, maybe it'll be outside this year. But that should be a fun one.
You've already taken care of that by saying the weather is supposed to be. It's going to be inside. Let's just prepare everybody for that.
Damn.
And so Aslan's doing some brewery tours as well.
Oh yeah.
Does Aslan normally have brewery tours throughout the year?
Every third Sunday of the month is our typical schedule, unless that is like a holiday weekend, and then we'll shift it around a bit.
Okay.
But our brewery tour guide is Jess Killerpool, and she is she's our cicerone. So she's a real deal cicerone, which is like being a sommelier.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In beer.
Okay.
Yeah. So she knows what she's talking about.
Yep.
I wanted to highlight Giant Fork Night, if possible.
Sure.
Because it's the North Fork where I used to work, and they have a long-standing collaboration with Lost Giants Cider, where this is pretty cool. They made a beer in a barrel that was from a cidery, I believe, and then Lost Giants took the barrel and made a cider and aged it in that same barrel.
Interesting.
And then served it, and then North Fork took that barrel back and made another beer. And then Lost Giants took it back and made another cider. So they're going to have a vertical of all of those.
Interesting.
Using the same barrel. And it just gets funkier and funkier. And they'll put like fruit in it. And so everything has a bit of the residual.
Right.
It's like a snowball of funk in this beer and cider. So, yeah. Between Lost Giants and North Fork, that's why it's called Giant Fork. But I promise it's safe to drink and really, really good. So,
have you tried?
I recommend.
Have you been able to sample some of this?
I was working there at the conception of that whole idea.
Okay.
So I have had the first couple.
Okay.
But I think they're on number 5 now, and
they're using the same barrel all these times.
Yeah. So if there's one thing that Eric Jorgensen, the head brewer out at North Fork, is good at, it's finding weird ideas and making them work somehow. Yeah.
That's one of those ones, if I'm being very honest with you, you didn't sell me on it, but I bet it's really cool.
That's okay.
But I bet it's really cool. I mean, I know that enough that's like, I'm kind of going, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to try it. I mean, that's okay.
Totally. There might be a beer that I helped make on tap that night, maybe. So
okay,
you'll have to go to find out.
All right. Bellingham Beer trivia. Is this trivia about Bellingham? Is it trivia about Bellingham Beer? Is it trivia just about beer? What do we got going on here? Oh, so it says specifically
the pause for a beer event.
Yeah, that's at the Dog Bar, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
Teams up to 5 paws.
Yeah, so Pause for a Beer is putting that on. When Layne says Dog Bar, so they're a tap house that has a big yard, and you're able to bring your dog there and have your dog socialize and play with other dogs while you drink beer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my dog.
And yeah, they're super awesome, and they are putting on a trivia about the Bellingham breweries.
Okay.
So we've all answered questions for them about, kind of fun facts or little known facts about the brewery.
Okay. That's so. Side note: what's the oldest craft brewery in Bellingham? Who was the OG?
Right now it's Boundary Bay.
Yeah, which was Orchard Street Brewing before that. So that turned into Boundary Bay, I believe.
And who's the newest one, right? As of the time we're recording, who's the new kid on the block?
Larrabee?
I think Larrabee Lager Company.
Okay.
Yep. Right. They just opened last year, and they know how to make a tasty beer, that's for sure. And they have great pizza.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A rarity in this town. So.
Oh, pizza not a thing? Bellingham?
It's a thing. There's just, I'm looking for the right kind that everyone likes different styles of pizza.
Right.
And I think Larrabee makes the kind that I enjoy.
And so elaborate on that.
Thin, like base, but not thin crust,
Okay.
It's not like
it's not like too bready.
Yeah, not too bready. Okay. They make one that has sausage and Mama Lil's on it, the peppers, my favorite. Mm-hmm. And that is just right up my alley, let me tell you.
How about you, Emily?
Pizza? I think hot honey.
I'm a big pizza girl.
So what's your go-to Bellingham pizza place?
I'm kind of a little known spot. I don't think they're necessarily known for pizza, but there's this restaurant in Fairhaven called Mambo Italiano, and they make really good pizza. And I live on that side of town, so that's if I'm gonna order a pizza, I'll order it from
I
there.
like that. Okay. And what's your, Layne mentioned sausage and Mama Lil's. What are you putting on a pizza?
That varies so much for me. I grew up working in pizza restaurants, so I'm kind of across the spectrum. I get like too bored if I have the same thing over and over, so I'll just go with whatever's interesting to me that day. But at Mambo, I do really like their margarita pizza is good.
Okay. Very important question. Pineapple, yes. Pineapple, no.
Pineapple, yes.
I'm kind of like a why not?
Yeah.
We don't need to die on this hill.
Big pineapple, yes, gal. If you don't like it, grow up. That's what I have to say.
What beer are you pairing with pineapple on a pizza?
I think a crispy lager. I'd have to think of which one, but like a Helles or something, where it's a
I'm
little
actually
bit
thinking
bready.
like Pilsner, something with
Or
a little
Pils. Yeah.
like hop fruity character.
A German beer.
Okay.
German lager. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to Bellingham Beer Week now that we've discussed pizza, pineapple, and beer. See? What's the Pink Boot Society?
That is a nationwide, maybe worldwide at this point, society with different chapters in each region or town. I think Bellingham created its own because we had such a strong beer scene up here. And it is a celebration of women that work in the beer industry. So, you have to have a certain percentage of your income, I think, has to be from being beer.
And then how are we connecting it to a pine car derby?
Great question. I'm not sure where that came from, but I know that it went really well last year, and so they're doing it again. Okay. Boundary Bay's team won last year, so I think that's kind of why they're wanting to do it again, defend their title on their home turf.
Got it.
But yeah, I think it should be fun, and you can sign up to get a kit, and then if you want to play, it's open to the public as well as the beer industry. Okay. So yeah, anyone can do it.
Cool.
Yeah, we take all of our competitive spirit and channel it into games in this industry.
Yeah.
A luau dinner? I don't think of Hawaiian Polynesian food in Bellingham.
Talk about pineapple. Yeah. There'll probably be pineapple at that one.
Just, you think?
That's one of my favorite genres of food, so I'm definitely going to that. Okay. Yeah, should be delicious knowing Larrabee.
All right. Now this,
and I love a Maibach.
Now this is where my palate doesn't quite click. Beer and dessert isn't a pairing that I've ever kind of worked on. So walk me through what you both think are like good dessert and beer pairings, because that's happening too.
Right. Well, maybe you haven't had the right pairing is what I'm curious about. I would go with Stemma. I bet there will be a lemon something dessert with that lemon cayenne lager that they have.
Okay. All right.
They have a spicy lemon lager.
Pure Bliss, who they're partnering with, is this delicious, delightful bakery in town, and they really specialize in kind of high quality cakes.
Special treats.
Okay.
Special treats. And so I bet that will be... They also have like a German chocolate cake that I'm imagining pairing with Stemma's porter. I think that'd be a good one. I'm a big dessert girl. Like I love desserts.
You don't look like this without, like me. You don't look like me without liking desserts and beer type food. So it's like I've never really thought of those two as
complementary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I get that. But I get a little overwhelmed with sweets, but I'm not a dessert person.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna have a dessert, it's gonna be something like tart.
Okay.
Or the beer is the dessert. I'm total opposite. I'm like, I love dessert. I love beer. I want them both at the same time. Give them to me.
I want like garlic bread for dessert.
Solid. I respect that.
I'm a savory gal.
We got Bellingham Brewers Guild beer release. There's a lot of beer releases going on during. Go figure. It makes
and
sense.
That's kind of a part of the spirit of it. Of like, let's put out something new for people to come out and try.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got karaoke. Well, almost seems like have to have.
What's your karaoke song?
I've never, and the world should be grateful, I've never sang karaoke because I have a terrible voice. No, it would make children cry, and just not.
But you have such a good podcast voice. You could go for like the low, like almost like talking song.
It's, how people sing in the shower? My shower shuts off. It just goes, no, we're done. It doesn't, it's like, no. Or it's just dump cold water on me to make it go away. It doesn't work. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your karaoke song?
Oh, I just discovered a new one.
Okay.
For myself. It's Limp Bizkit Break Stuff.
Whoa.
Okay.
Metal.
All right. Layne?
So out of left field.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
Mine is kind of a deep cut. It's Picture by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
But I do both parts.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it is a fun one. Sad.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know.
I have you pegged as like a Copacabana guy.
No.
At the Copa.
No.
Okay.
Honestly, because I would do it just to be obnoxious. And is it? I can't think of this. It's a Zeppelin song. The one where they're under the.
Oh yeah.
I just would do that.
Which might actually be harder than it sounds.
It'd be terrible.
Because I feel like there's a lot of words that you don't actually know in that song.
Led Zeppelin's record sales would cease immediately. Their streaming would stop. No one would ever. I would have ruined it. And I'm not a Zeppelin fan per se, but yeah, that'd be. I do respect when somebody gets up on a karaoke stage and
belts. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've got a big karaoke culture here at Colshan.
Oh yeah.
We do it at nearly all of our staff events.
Okay.
Oh, at Colshan. Cool. There's one guy in Bellingham that always sings Meatloaf songs exclusively. And he goes like every karaoke. So yeah.
Huh.
It's a fun one.
Let's move on.
And he wears a Meatloaf shirt.
Let's move on from that.
Yeah. Anyways.
Moving right along. So I'm reading the headlines and I'm a little confused, and then I have to read the thing because I was a taste of Humboldt. I was instantly thinking of Northern California, but there's a Humboldt Street in Bellingham. So what's going on there?
Many breweries on it. So there is a neighborhood called Sunnyland. Colshan has a location in Sunnyland. Okay. But then if you even get a little bit more microscopic, it's one street has many opportunities for eating and drinking. Okay. And so I think you start at one end and make your way to the other end.
Okay.
Probably start at El Suanito and end up at Otherlands. And there's some delicious pairings along the way. So
cool.
That should be fun. El Suanito is great. They have tamales. They're associated and owned by the same people as Free Lard Tamales in Seattle. So good opportunity there.
So we got a Standard Fork collab release night on this. We're not that anyone's following along by days, but this is Thursday, April 25th. We got another beer being released.
Shocking.
We've got April Oktoberfest.
April-toberfest.
Which is so Sam Milne coded that he wants to do a lager event in April, but I'm here for it. I'll be there.
Yeah. So Colshan actually collaborated with Larrabee, and one of our beers, or our collaboration beer, Bach in the Saddle, will be released at that event as well.
Fun. Love that.
Bach in the Saddle. It's a Texas-style amber Bach. It's a very specific style. But the head brewer, or one of the owners at Larrabee, Sam Milne, used to be a co-head brewer at Colshan with our head brewer, Wesley Finger. And so those two, you get them in the same room and they're just like, let's make this kind of beer. So they went off on their journey and came up with this beer recipe and paired it with the April-toberfest.
Well, let me ask you this. This is maybe getting really, really into the weeds, and you may or may not know the answer, but you made it sound like, in your opinion, this is a very niche specific beer. Am I correct in that?
I think so. I don't think it's a very well-known style.
Okay. How much do you think they brewed of this beer?
I probably like 10 barrels. I'm not sure how big we brewed it at Larrabee,
Okay.
And I'm not super familiar with how big their system is.
And so what barrels translate size-wise into approximately?
32 gallons per barrel, so
320 gallons of beer. That's a reasonable amount of beer. Okay.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a reasonable amount. So this
It's a lot
isn't
of
just
pints.
some mad scientist lab doing 5 gallons and they've tested this before they put it out into, let's call it 300 gallons of production. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, and this one's going into cans as well, so it'll be available in 12-ounce cans.
Oh, they're going to can it too. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
At Larrabee, and we'll sell some here at Colshan as well.
All right. Tell me about the Beer Week block party.
That's always a fun one. That's at Stone's Throw, and their space just lends so well to, having a lot of people celebrating, drinking beer. They shut down their little street. It's a small block in Fairhaven, but they are great at curating the food trucks, and there's always live music, and it's just a good energy, nice way to kind of wrap up Beer Week. So
who is Marty the party truck?
Marty the party truck.
I have never heard of that person.
Okay.
Me either. I think you'll
I'm
have
ready
to.
though.
It might be their tap truck. So they have
I didn't know how to name.
They have a refrigeration truck with taps in the side that they pour beer out of. I'm pretty sure that's Marty the party truck.
That's got to be Marty the party truck. Yeah, that actually sounds kind of cool. All right. The Problem Jazz Trio at Greens. There seems to be a jazz theme going on musically here. There's been more than one jazz event. Does Bellingham have is jazz a...
It's a young town, Bellingham, but I will say as young people, we have an affinity for jazz here. We love it. So
all right.
Can't be stopped. There's jazz every week at the Aslan Depot. That's how much we love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colshan throws a jazz festival at Trackside every year.
Really?
As well.
Yeah.
And it's always a kind of people-pleasing style.
From
People
Kid
love
Rock to jazz. That's kind of a wide...
Never said I didn't have a range.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Not being a Bellingham person is Gruff Forest Funk. What on earth is Gruff Forest Funk?
So, from my understanding, they've partnered with this organization called Cascade Carnivore Project, and they're helping raise money for that organization through this event.
All right.
I think they made a beer release with them, and they're going to have the organization there for people to learn about their work around
all right,
releasing lynx and wolverines and foxes, carnivores back into the Northern Cascades.
That's cool.
So that actually seems like a really cool event.
Yeah, I love that. It's ticketed, so if you want to go, gotta get your tickets.
We've got another beer release for a floral IPA. Okay. And that's all right. And is that something that they release annually? Is this their floral IPA? Is that the IPA season starting for them? Is that what's going on? It structures?
Yeah, they're kind of IPA season all the time.
Okay.
They're great at making IPAs.
All right. This beer
really
benefits Max Higby Center though, so I think it's an annual one that they do around April Brews Day.
All right, and then April Brews Day. What's the story there?
It started a long time ago as a smaller event and has grown to the point where we had to move it down to the waterfront to accommodate all of the people that want to go. So thousands of people coming to, it's basically a beer festival where Bellingham beer is very well represented, but also some other Washington beer. And you get sample size cups. There's also a ton of live music. If you can't tell, Beer Week is all about live music and drinking beer at the same time.
It's a great pairing.
Yeah. And then there's some cideries and food trucks and the works. So it all benefits Max Higby Center, which is an adult center for, it's like a place that provides a creative outlet for adults with like a range of developmental disabilities.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and this festival funds nearly their whole operating budget for the year, so it's a really important fundraiser.
Okay. We touched on the hangover helper brunch.
Yeah. That kind of wraps us up.
But you need to, I don't know. I'm tapping out by then.
Well, we hope to see you up here.
Well, it's funny. I'm actually going to be in Bellingham on the 19th, so I'm going to go to something.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to drop by something.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
You know where to find me.
What about Bellingham Beer Week and the Alliance didn't we talk about before I start asking you both some very Bellingham specific questions?
I think the main thing I would just like to plug is that Bellingham Beer Week won't be all you see from us.
Okay, cool.
And we don't have anything solidified yet, but we're, we're in the scheming mode where anything could happen.
Okay.
And looking at, traditional things like Oktoberfest weekend or a winter beer festival and different ways that we can incorporate all the breweries as an organized unit to celebrate ourselves and honestly continue to bring beer tourism to Bellingham.
Let me ask you about that. Is beer tourism noticeable at your breweries? Are you aware of people coming in, say from Canada, from Vancouver coming down, or from Seattle, Portland coming up? Do you notice that in your breweries?
I'd say yes.
Yeah. Canadian holidays are great.
Canadian holidays.
Yeah.
But, we're trying to expand our reach and put Bellingham on the map statewide because we make incredible beer here. Our beer is award-winning. It's mostly because our water is amazing here. Okay. Right. Shout out the water treatment center.
Yes. Shout out Lake Whatcom.
Yeah, Lake Whatcom.
Okay. All right.
And, yeah.
All right. Layne, you got what? The.
I think Emily said it best.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, yeah, I know where you're going with that.
Okay, thanks.
She said it best. There's more to come from Bellingham Beer Alliance, taking care of all of your organizational beer needs, which there are a lot in this town. So we're here for you.
Okay.
And we're kind of just here to all celebrate each other and the thing that brings us together, because beer drinking is all about having a pint with your friends and meeting new people over a beer and, making connections. So.
All right. So I prepped you for a couple of questions, but I'm going to surprise you with a couple more. And the rules of this next section is if Emily goes first, let's say, and she says something, Layne, you can't use the same answer. Okay? Except for the last question,
cool.
which you can. Okay. So Emily, I'm going to let you go first. I love coffee. Where's the best place in Bellingham for coffee?
I love Banter.
Okay.
Their coffee shop where I can get my smoothie, bacon, and coffee all in one.
So true.
And that just tickles me.
All in one? That's kind of...
Yeah, blended up. No, I'm just kidding.
Coffee and
all
bacon
at the same
smoothie.
time.
Okay. And at Banter, what's your go-to coffee drink?
I'm an iced Americano girl.
Okay.
The dash of cream.
Okay. Solid. Solid. All right, Layne. Can't say Banter.
Cafe Blue is my favorite coffee place.
Really? Why is that?
They have the best food, the best coffee, the best staff.
Okay.
The owner is a friend, amazing people. And I get the goat cheese and hazelnut toast with honey. And I don't have a go-to coffee order. I was in the coffee industry for a long time, so I kind of bounce around. But
so what was the last coffee you bought? What was the last coffee, wherever you bought it at, what was the last coffee drink you bought?
An oat milk chai with a shot in it. Dirty chai.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first, Layne. I'm going to get to Bellingham about lunchtime. Where should I grab lunch?
Old World Deli. It's my favorite sandwich place, and they have everything that you could ever want. I get the spicy Italian, but instead of pepperoncinis, I do Mama Lil's, because as we know, I love Mama Lil's.
Why are Mama Lil's so popular? I love them.
They're so good.
I know, I love them, but why are they so? It's like this cult thing.
I don't know. I think it's the only pickled thing I like, so I have to lean into it.
Yeah, they're really tasty. Okay, Emily, lunch. I'll go for 2 lunches while I'm in Bellingham.
2 lunches. I'm going to Otherlands.
Really? Okay.
I love their cafe menu. I get the beet Reuben.
It's really good.
It's delicious. And their French fries are like to die for.
Really?
Perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thick. They're frites. Yeah. So good.
So
Frites.
beet Reuben.
Mm-hmm.
Elaborate.
It's a vegetarian menu.
Uh-huh.
So, it's not exactly what you expect, but
It's okay.
they're like these smoky beets and sauerkraut and this delightful bread. And they have this really good sauce that goes on it. And it just gets me every time.
See, I'll be honest with you. I don't like beets, but you just made it sound like I would like them. Like, when I think of beets, I think like they taste like dirt. It's just, but
They kind of do.
yeah, but you just.
I have a beet tattoo. On
What?
My arm.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Do you like beets?
I love them. A lot. Yeah.
Love beets.
Wow, see,
I was a farmer for a while. I've seen some
you
stuff.
see some things.
You've seen a few beets in your day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What's the surprise
No, I
question?
got a couple more I'm throwing at you that I hadn't prepped you for. Just because these are like
Perfect.
Bellingham, you live there, you recreate there, you
Yeah.
work there. Best recreation spot in Bellingham.
Oh, Galbraith Mountain, easily.
Okay.
You got your
Layne, I'm sorry you can't
multi-use
answer that
trails.
question. So, or you can't say the same thing.
No, it's okay.
Why? What's about Galbraith Mountain that is so? I mean, you just jumped. That fell out of your mouth. Why?
Well, it's our main vein for our mountain biking trails,
Okay.
but they're also great hiking trails. And you can gravel bike up there, and it's just this huge network. This whole mountain that's just covered in trails, and it's super accessible from town. It's like you could bike from a neighborhood, and you can go to the other side of the mountain in like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Of driving. So there's 2 access points, trails all around, and it's pretty incredible.
Layne, how about you?
I'm a Mount Baker girl. It's not in Bellingham technically, but it's near Bellingham, visible from Bellingham. Snowboard.
Okay.
Snowboarding. Yes.
Where else do you like to snowboard besides Mount Baker?
Sun Peaks in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. Big fan.
Best place to see live music in Bellingham? That'll be the last question.
I'm going to say the Trackside Beer Garden.
I was going to say the Aslan Depot patios. So we're doing a shameless plug
No,
for our own
Plug-ins for our own
organizations.
breweries.
So
Yeah.
that's fine. Why? Why are you? Besides the proximity.
The patio, the patio at the depot is just vibey, and there's a big, gorgeous brick wall, which feels weird, but it sets the mood. And the lights, and you can get cocktails, spritzes, wine, beer, food, the works. So big fan.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Trackside is this beautiful open space down at the waterfront, and there's always families running around and friends, and it just is like kind of a quintessential Bellingham place for me and for a lot of people in town. So when there's a good show there and you get to be on the grass looking up at our container stage, it has a pretty magical essence to it.
Very cool. So from a technical standpoint, we just lost Layne. So Emily, we're going to wrap this up with you. You get the last question that you're not prepared for.
Let's hear it.
You have to answer this question, and you have to explain your reasoning. If Layne comes back, I'll ask it of her too. All right. Very simple question.
Great.
Cake or pie, and why?
That is such a hard question because, as we talked about, I love desserts of all kind. But I think I'm going to go with cake because I love frosting.
Okay.
It's not so much that I love the cake part, but I've always loved frosting. I was always that kid who was like swiping off the side, getting into the chocolate in the middle. And not to hate on pie, but there's a lot, most pies are just fruit and dough. And I feel like I'm happy getting that from a pastry, and it doesn't need to be a pie. But cake is very specific to me, and I really want frosting.
What one cake? You got one. You're going to get one cake the rest of your life. What's it going to be?
So my mom will make this ice cream cake, which is, this is kind of borderline. It's not cake, but okay. She makes this ice cream cake. She's made it my whole life. It's a very nostalgic, specific thing for me. And it's an Oreo layer, an ice cream layer, peanuts, hot fudge, and it's topped with Cool Whip. And it's delicious. And I could eat that for the rest of my life.
Eat that for the rest of your life. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sitting down with me. This was very fun for me. And I think it's really cool what's going on in Bellingham, not just in the beer scene, but as I was telling you before we hit record, there just seems to be this disproportionate good energy coming out of Bellingham in all sorts of categories. And what you guys are doing with Bellingham Beer Week, with the Beer Alliance, I'm excited to see what sort of fun events you have percolating in the background. And and I just, this week of beer in Bellingham sounds painful to me, but like really fun. And I really like hearing the camaraderie between the breweries. I think that's really, really a wonderful thing. And so I thank you for sitting down and talking with me today. Is there anything I'm going to let you have the last word? What do you want to say? It's your show.
Well, I wanted to say that I think you nailed it with the rising tide raises all ships sentiment earlier. And that's really the essence of what Bellingham Beer is all about. Yeah. And what we're trying to continue to raise up through the Beer Alliance and through Beer Week. And we hope that, people enjoy what we're planning and come out and support Bellingham Beer.
Awesome. Well, I will get this published and out there for you guys. And I'm really excited. I'll get to swing by and at least check something out while I'm up there. So I'll absolutely do that. So thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, great.
Hope you enjoyed the show. You can reach me on Twitter at ExploreWaState. I'd love to hear your comments. You can also visit our website at explorewashingtonstate.com. If you know anyone who would like the show, it'd be amazing if you'd share the show with them. This is the biggest way that we grow this show. Good old word of mouth. Glad you were here with me today, and I hope to have you listening to the next episode. See you then.